Hey, welcome back to Reading the Bible Together. Pastor Matt, Pastor RJ, again, reading through the Gospel of John. Good news of great joy for all the people. We're going to be looking for Jesus in the text today, but asking those questions, what's going on, what does it mean, and what are you going to do today? We'd love to see your comments down below, but RJ, take it away with John 9.
Yeah, let's start. As he went along, he saw a blind man from birth. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," said Jesus, "but this happened so that the work of God might be displayed in his life. As long as it is day, we must do the work of him who sent me. Night is coming, when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world." Having said this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. "Go," he told them, "wash in the pool of Siloam." This word means sent. So the man went and washed and came home seeing. His neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, "Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg?" Some claimed that he was. Others said, "No, he only looks like him." But he himself insisted, "I am the man." "How then were your eyes open?" they demanded. He replied, "The man they called Jesus made some mud, put it on my eyes. He told me to go to Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and then I could see." "Where is this man?" they asked. "I don't know," he said.
And they brought to the Pharisees the man who'd formerly been blind. Now, it was the Sabbath day when Jesus made the mud and opened his eyes. So the Pharisees again asked him how he had received his sight. And he said to them, "He put mud on my eyes, and I washed, and I see." Some of the Pharisees said, "This man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath." But others said, "How can a man who's a sinner do such signs?" And there was a division among them. So they said again to the blind man, "What do you say about him, since he has opened your eyes?" The man responded, "He is a prophet." The Jews did not believe that he had been blind and he had received his sight, until they called the parents of the man who had received his sight and asked them, "Is this your son, who you say was born blind? How then does he now see?" His parents answered, "We know that this is our son and that he was born blind. But how he now sees, we do not know, nor do we know who opened his eyes. Ask him. He's of age. He'll speak for himself." His parents said these things because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had already agreed that if anyone should confess Jesus to be the Christ, he was to be put out of the synagogue. Therefore his parents said, "He is of age. Ask him." So for the second time they called the man who had been born blind and said to him, "Give glory to God, for we know this man is a sinner." And he answered, "Whether he's a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing I do know, though, is that I was blind, and now I see." They said to him, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" And he answered them, "I've already told you, and you would not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you also want to become his disciples?" And they reviled him, saying, "You are his disciples, but we're disciples of Moses. We know that God has spoken to Moses, but as for this man, we don't know where he comes from." The man answered, "Why, this is an amazing thing. You don't know where he comes from, and yet he opened my eyes. We know that God does not listen to sinners, but if anyone is a worshiper of God and does his will, God listens to him. Never since the world began has it been heard that anyone opened the eyes of a man born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing." They answered him, "You were born in utter sin, and you would teach us?" And they threw him out.
Jesus heard that they had thrown him out, and when he found him, he said, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" "Who is he, sir?" the man asked. "Tell me so that I may believe in him." Jesus said, "You've now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." Then the man said, "Lord, I believe," and he worshipped him. Jesus said, "For judgment I have come into this world, so that the blind will see, and those who see will become blind." Some Pharisees who were with him heard him say this and asked, "What? Are we blind too?" And Jesus said, "If you were blind, you would not be guilty of sin, but now that you claim you can see, your guilt remains."
Oh, man. So chapter 9, just about one story, kind of all the parts of it.
Yeah.
But RJ, what's sticking out to you with this healing miracle?
I think there's a few different things that stick out to me. Like, one, it's really odd that Jesus uses mud. Like right at the start, it's like what's like Jesus. There's plenty of times where he heals people, and he doesn't do that. So I don't know, like what the deal is. I mean, there's probably some connections that in the Hebrew scriptures, like God creates out of the dirt and the dust and the clay. There's also a part of me is like, is he just farming a little bit? Like, is he trying like, hey, like this, let's change up how we're doing it a little bit.
Right.
But I think when I look deeper, I think the criticism, that part or that question that starts here of like who sinned,
Yeah.
is a deep question that I think people are still wrestling with when anything is not the way that it should be. And even if you're not like a Christian, if you're not a follower of Jesus, innately we still know that some things are not the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so like we can look at the state of our world and be like, all right, things aren't supposed to be like this. Death isn't supposed to happen like this. Tragedy isn't supposed to be that way. And then this comes down to a more personal level. Like in my family, this person experienced that. And so there's maybe a deeply personal level where we know like, oh, I lost somebody or we experienced this diagnosis and it's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the religious response is to attribute that to that, well, God's judging you, that somebody sinned and caused this, or somebody like is the reason that you're experiencing this. And Jesus just goes after that there.
Yeah.
And that, I think it's a really powerful way for Jesus to address it. Is like, no, this isn't about this individual's sin. And is it a result in big picture that because we're a sinful, broken world, but it's not this person's sin or this person's parents' sin that is, that he's not being punished for something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a karmic type activity. Like good things happen to good people, bad things happen to bad. Like that's not the way the world works. I think the thing that sticks out to me in the passage is that they really want to get to the bottom of this. Like they are so angry about Jesus. The otherworldly nature of this miracle, like this has never happened before, and they are so upset that this good thing has happened. They really need to take care of it, and so that they come to the man a second time, and he kind of like throws it in their face, like, "Do you also want to be his disciple?" Like that just. It makes me laugh because this guy is kind of addressing them in a way that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise addressed them if they had only come to him once. But so what, like, as we're reading chapter 9, like this, I think this deals a lot with how we perceive Jesus in our faith. Like, what's that deep meaning for you as you're reading the text?
Yeah, I think the deep meaning for me when I read it is as it gets to the end of there when Jesus is talking about spiritual blindness and that the blind will see and those who see will become blind, is asking myself, what are the things that I am blind to? Like maybe are there certain things that are the desires and heart of God that I've maybe even willfully like closed my eyes to because it's just too hard to deal with, or it's too hard to respond the way that maybe I think God would want me to in response to evil or brokenness or injustice. And so I think for me, there's a big part of asking that. It's like, all right, what am I blind to? And then where do I need then Jesus to be give me sight and eyes to see those things?
Yeah, I love that. And I think even in that section, like when Jesus says, like, you've seen him, like you want to know who the God of the world is, like you're looking right at him.
Yeah.
And the guy's response is, Lord, I believe, and he worshiped him. Yeah. Which, like, if Jesus wasn't God, that act alone would have caused that man to be killed, right?
Yeah.
Because he would have been found as an idolater.
Yep.
And so just that boldness of this man who had been born blind, his whole life had been a mess. He'd been begging his whole life, and now he's come face to face with God and worships him in the person of Jesus.
And there's a lot that like doesn't happen when he gets it. Like there's a lot of theology that hasn't been unpacked, or like what does he understand about forgiveness and the nature of God, like all those things. It's like no, he experienced something from Jesus and now he knows who Jesus is. Like,
he was blind, now he's not. Spiritually as
enough.
well. Right? Like that's awesome. So we've read chapter 9. There's a lot going on with this one story. So what are you going to do today, having read chapter 9?
I think doing today, I think it would be just asking God, show me what I need to see.
Yeah.
And whether that be asking him to show me because he put something into my heart and my mind, or maybe it's a very tangible, like show me, and then somebody later text me or call. And it's like, oh, that's actually the response I'm supposed to have.
Yeah, that aspect of like Jesus asking, like, why do you try to take the speck out of your brother's eye when I have a plank in my own? I think that's the kind of thing like I'm thinking about too today as we're reading through this, like, Lord, will you reveal to me those planks that I really need to seriously take a look at? Maybe I talk with you or like whoever it is, like whoever's the person of peace in my life to help me with those. Let's tackle those first so that I can be the kind of person who loves like Jesus instead of criticizes like me.
Right, yeah.
So, but what about you? There's a lot going on in chapter 9. We'd love to see your comments down below. What's going on? What does it mean? And what are you going to do today having read John 9? But for RJ, Pastor Matt, we'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.